We are now live. Hello one, hello all, and welcome to yet another weekly Vega Fairground or Testnet Jam. My name is Dagan. I'm a community manager at Vega, who you might have seen here and there, active on the Discord, active around the community channels of Vega. So Vega Fairground Jam is a weekly ongoing series that takes place every Thursday at 6 p.m. British Summer Time or UTC+1. And each week we take a deep dive into an aspect of Vega protocol with a member of the Vega team or a special guest. Then we usually follow with an open Zoom room so that any keen attendees who want to hang out with the team can hang out with us and answer some questions about some of the themes covered in each session. This week we're very lucky. We have user advocate Candida from the community team with myself. And she's always very active on our different channels. You've probably seen her here and there. She'll introduce herself in a little bit. And we'll be going through a very basic overview of the Vega console, the Vega testnet. We figured that this would be necessary to give new users, people that have recently joined the ecosystem, an updated overview on what you can do on the Vega testnet and what its purpose is and why it's special. And we'll get through as many different features of just basic features of how to use it as we can today. And then anything we don't finish or go over, we will cover in a future session. So some quick housekeeping before we start. While Candida and I are going through it and presenting, you're free to ask any questions you may have in the Zoom chat, in the Twitch chat, and we'll answer those either as we go along or at the end of the call, depending on what's more appropriate. About 5 minutes before the end, I will post a Zoom link on the Twitch chat, and then you can come along and visit us in the Zoom if you want to have a chat about any of the things we discussed today or just hang out with the team. So I will now hand over to Candida, who will screen share, and then she will introduce herself, and we'll get the party going. Over to you, Candida.
Thank you. Sorry, I was just looking at screen sharing for a second. Hi, everyone. So my name is Candida, as Dagan just said. Thank you very much for the intro, Dagan. I'm user advocate at Vega, and what that means is my focus is making sure that Vega users have a voice within the Vega team. You know, when we're making decisions and thinking about things that our users have told us are reflected in that. Some of the things I do as well are track, triage, and share feedback internally, the feedback that you guys share with us. So please keep sharing it. It's all really useful. Keep track of the sticking points and make sure that we're taking care of that and communicating with our users. And I also organize the documentation, and I write a lot of the non-API documentation. So kind of explaining how some of the things work with a lot of help from the team, because it's a big protocol with a lot of moving parts. So yeah, so that's my quick overview. So I'm going to share my screen now, hopefully. And we will do a little console walkthrough. All right, screen sharing, looking good?
Yeah, looks great. Cool. So Candida will go through an overview of testnet and Fairground, and I'll be asking questions here and there as we go along, just kind of poking into the things and getting more information out of you. So over to you.
Thanks. So this is Vega console for Fairground, which is the Vega testnet, which is at times incentivized. At the moment, we're not running any incentives, but if you're interested in taking part in incentives, I would always recommend that you give console and Fairground a try so that you kind of are familiar with it and know what you're doing before the incentives start. So that's the first thing out of the way. So this is the user interface for interacting with the Vega protocol, and it's called console, as I said. So the URL over here is console.fairground.wtf. If you haven't been with us for a while, you may notice that the URL has changed. It used to be testnet.vega.trading. I think it still redirects, but I'm not going to try now. So go try it for yourself. Let me know. But yes, it does. Good. So yeah, if there's any old links hanging out there, it still works. So that's good. So I've kind of cheated and done a few things in advance just to sort of save myself a little time. So I'm going to go through them, but you'll see you try it out for yourself and you'll see what I mean. So when you first come on, you won't have this here, but you'll see a prompt to connect to a wallet, and you'll actually see in a bunch of other places prompts to tell you to connect to a wallet. So I've already done that, and I'm using the Vega hosted wallet right now for the purposes of demo, because it's just a bit easier. But we also have a Vega local wallet, which is your keys, you run it yourself, only you know how to log into it. I mean, we don't know how to log into yours, but like it's all on you, which I think is really great. And that's how it will be in the future. But this hosted one is just to make people a little more comfortable getting started on console for now. And via APIs, I think it works too. Sorry, diversion. So once you log in, you'll see a key, usually one. You might have two if you've made more than one, especially if you're using the local wallet. One thing to note, if you are using the local wallet, you won't actually get to testnet by typing in this URL and logging in. What you'll do is you'll connect through the local wallet. So it's the same interface, it's just a slightly different way to connect. So it's worth keeping that in mind. And when you're running the wallet, there will be a command in there you can use, and there's instructions in the README on how to do that. So, and if you have trouble with that or have any questions, feel free to pop them into Discord and we can help you with that. So the other thing I've already done is I've given myself collateral. So I've done some deposits so that I can play around on testnet, but I'm going to show you really quickly what that looks like so that you can try it yourself. But I didn't want to have to wait for the Robson transactions, so I just went ahead and did it. If you come in here and you can see here, this key has no assets. So this is what it'll look like if you've got none. But I'm on this one that I call Vega key. And I'm going to go to this deposit button here. And then you can see a list of all of the assets available on testnet. Some of these down here are not available right now for various reasons. And there are no markets currently that are using those assets, so you won't need them anyway. But so you click over here on the deposit button, and then again, deposit. And then, so I already have 10 BTC hanging out in my wallet, which is cool. But if you don't have Robson Ethereum yet, because you don't have it, you will need it to pay gas fees for the transaction. So we use Robson Ethereum, which is a testnet Ethereum, to pay the gas, and that transaction just, it's gas for using the bridge in effect to get collateral in and out. So once you get your Robson Ethereum, you should actually probably only really need to get your Robson Ethereum once in quite a while, because I think I got 5 Robson F, like, I don't even know how long ago, 6-8 months ago, and it's still going strong. And I've even given some away to people, and it's still have plenty, so you should be all right.
Why don't I use actual Ethereum?
Well, number one, this is a test net, so please definitely don't try to use the mainnet for Ethereum on this. It actually won't work. So you'll actually get a prompt if you try to use it to say that you're connected to the wrong network. And why? Because this is all fake money, and we want you to play around and see how testnet works, and have fun with it and not have it cost you money, because it's a testnet. That's kind of the whole point of it. And also, it's worth noting that when we have a network reset, like for a release, or if something's gone wrong and it crashes and we need to redo it, collateral goes away. So even though your Robson Ethereum would hang around in your wallet, or your real Ethereum, as it were, it would be like a huge bummer to have spent real gas on fake collateral that you then lose. So definitely remember, this is all fake. Robson Ethereum, not real Ethereum. You don't need to use real Ethereum for any of this. If anyone asks you to, ignore them. Incorrect. It's all Robson.
That makes sense. Thanks.
No problem. So then you can click into the get TBTC in this case, which I already have, and it'll open up the MetaMask wallet and ask you to go through the transaction. I'm not going to do it, like I said, because I've got some. And over here, I can deposit my 10 BTC that I have in my MetaMask wallet. You can use other Ethereum wallets, absolutely, but we have done the most testing with MetaMask. So it's kind of a soft suggestion that you use MetaMask rather than another wallet, but you absolutely can use another one. It's just because we haven't had the capacity to do testing with a lot of other ones, we're not always sure how they work. But if you do use a different wallet and you want to tell us about the experience using it, please feel free to pop a message into Discord and kind of tell us if you've had any trouble with it, or if it works really great. And then, we can tell people, yeah, this one works really well. So just so you know. Again, I'm always looking for opportunities for you guys to give me feedback. So, please do.
The queen of feedback. So now we're depositing, right? Some BTC into the Vega console. Why do I have to deposit assets? Because when I use Uniswap or Sushi or any other decentralized exchange, usually it just takes it from my wallet. Why do I deposit here?
That's actually a good question that I'm not sure I have a great answer for. So I can tell you that it's because of the way the bridges are built, but I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna punt on this one and pass it to someone who knows a little better. But I'm gonna speculate a bit and say that it's worth also considering that this is a control thing. Like, I can tell the system how much money I want to put in. So instead of just having like all the money available for trading, I can say, actually, I only want to use this much on this key. And then I can go back to another key if I wanted to and put more assets on that key. For one more step back on this key, for example.
Yeah, if I had to guess as well, I might say it might be to do because it's a derivative exchange. It's not a spot trading, and so it needs to settle your margin requirement. It needs to settle your margin, your balance in real time, and it needs to claim from your given balance. And so it allows you to manage your margin quite well, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense too. Exactly. And I don't know about everyone else, but I'm a little bit of a cautious person in this respect. But I would rather have a lot of control over the money that's available rather than just in effect connecting like the equivalent of my bank account and being like, yeah, free reign with all my money, do what you want. And that's one of the things about Vega that I think makes it quite different in a really good way, is that you can't, the money you put in it is it, and that makes it a lot safer for you, because you can't lose everything unless you put everything in there. And also for the network, because it means like it's all decentralized and it's all pseudonymous. The market, like the people who run the market, the people who run the network, they can't chase you up for that money. And so if it's gone, like, and it's not in there, there's nothing they can do about it. So it just keeps the network and each individual market much more secure, because that it also means that other participants can trust that, okay, if I do well and I am making money, I actually get that money. And it's not like I have to worry, oh, is this one just gonna like run away when they lose like millions they don't have. So
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's nice. It's one of the things I like about it. It just feels quite comfortable. Like you're in control, and it means that if you're on the other side, other people can feel safe too. Yeah, so I haven't even started trading yet, and we're already like 15 minutes in. So yeah, I've gone through the deposit. I've got some collateral here. You can see down here in this workspace, which is the default workspace called My Workspace, which I will get into in 1 second. But while we're on the topic of collateral and deposits, I wanted to point out one thing, which is in this view called the futures view, is a list of all the markets that are available on testnet right now for trading. And under the asset column here, you can see the assets that you need. So it's the settlement asset for each market. So if you want to think about what collateral you want to add in, it's worth having a look at what markets you think sound good, and then what assets have been nominated to be the settlement asset for those markets. Also worth noting that the settlement asset doesn't actually necessarily need to be tied to what's being speculated on in the market itself. And when you're looking at just like currency futures markets, that might seem a little bit weird, but if you think about other types of derivatives markets, like you could be, trying to predict all sorts of different things. And so they wouldn't necessarily be tied to the value of an asset in the same way. So that's one of the reasons that it's that way. And so when someone proposes a market, they have to nominate an asset. It's not an automatic thing. So yeah, so those are the assets available. So earlier I did a quick little scan and I saw that the T-die market, which is probably immediately going to prove me wrong, has been really stable and not in auction. So I thought I might be safe to make some trades on that one. And really quickly, even though we'll go into auctions a little bit later as well, this little hammer or gavel here next to these market names means that those markets are in an auction for whatever reason. An auction is a different type of market state. That means you have to place a different type of order, and it's not just a kind of continuous trading moment. It's something usually the market is seeking something that's not available. For example, it might be a liquidity provision auction, and the market is like, I don't have enough liquidity to keep going. I need people to provide liquidity. So it'll go into a liquidity seeking auction. But yeah, let's move that aside. Workspaces. So this whole thing here in front of you is a workspace, and it's your kind of playground for the views, which are all these little windows. This is, like I said, the default one, and the default one comes with this nice chunky intro panel, which can provide a lot of useful links, including to within a console. So for example, connect to a Vega wallet. If you click on that, it opens up the wallet drawer here, and you can log in and start depositing. Because I'm already logged in, obviously you see the deposit view, but that's what would happen. You can see fills. So it opens up the fills view here, which I have none. So there's no data to show right now. And it also links off to documentation and our community channels, a link to where you can leave feedback. So if you see something that doesn't look right, or you want to, tell us how great it is, you can do that in there. And this is also a link to the Vega protocol GitHub. And the more open source we go, the more repos will be available there. But feel free to poke around at what's there, because there's already some cool stuff in there. So let's say you're looking at this workspace and you're like, yeah, that's cool. I don't feel like going through and kind of manually adding stuff, which I'm doing now just to show you how it looks. I don't want to put this whole thing up, myself. I just want a quick and easy one for markets. So there's two ways you can do that. One is you can click on the market in the futures view, like this, and create a new workspace, just like that. And then it builds you kind of the preset workspace. And you can still play around with it and customize it however you want to. But just know it's there for you. It's ready for you to get started. And you can also do that by clicking on the plus over here. And you can either create a market-specific workspace like I just did, or I think we might, yeah, whatever. Or you can create an empty workspace, which is just a blank one. So a new workspace. And it opens up with a view that lets you start picking what you want to do in there. But I am lazy and I like that someone's done the work for me. So I'm going to stick with the Ave die one that we already have. And I think will do a pretty good job for what I need. So we've done all of that. And now it's time to start thinking about trading. So the thing you want to look for when you want to place a trade, if you're going to just get in there and try it and see what a trade looks like, is the deal ticket here. So you'll see it's got the short code for the market and then the name ticket. And then we have the order type in here, the quantity where you put in the amount of futures that you want to trade, 1, 10, 100, whatever you think you can do with your money. For a limit order, it's the price. So if you want to set a specific price, you can put it in here, and then a time in force, and I'll go through that. The other options are market order, which I actually intended to start with, but market order is the pretty straightforward one. You put in a quantity that you want to buy or sell, and then you choose a time in force, or you change it if you want to, and then it just goes, and it gets filled at whatever the market price is if there's someone ready to do that. And you can see at the moment. Oh yeah.
If all of this is unfamiliar to you, I would advise going on YouTube and looking up like how a derivative exchange works, or derivative trading, or look at another centralized exchange in the crypto space. and then get familiar with their interfaces. And then you can see that some of the differences between how their exchange is set up and what makes Vega a bit more unique. But we'll get to that more a bit later.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Dagan. I think that's a really good tip. And it's worth noting that this is a trading interface where the intent is to cater to professional traders. So there's quite a lot of stuff here because, we have people who are like, I want all the data, I want all the information, I want customizability. And so it's a lot of stuff and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's a ton of functionality. Like you can do way more than you can do on a lot of other platforms. So I think it's worth as well pointing that out. Like this is definitely a pro kind of thing. Not that you need to be a pro testnet user to try it out, but that's the kind of what we're going for with it. So yeah, market order, the order goes straight onto the book, and you can see here that we get the best bid and the best offer at the moment, and the volume on each side of the book. And then I'm going to put in a number just to see if it changes anything. Yeah. So now that I put a number in, I can see the slippage on both sides, which is a relatively new, cool bit of information. It's worth noting that this stuff, as I recall, is all estimated because, we can't, it can't literally predict exactly what's going to happen in the market if I don't place this trade for another 5 minutes, right? So it's, I wouldn't balance your budget based on those numbers, but it's good to give you an indicator. And then if you click on it, actually, we get a little explanation of what slippage is, which I think is really cool. There's actually a lot of little tricks like that in console, and hopefully I will trigger a few others to show you. But if you see some underlining like that, I know it's quite subtle, but keep an eye out for it. It's like a little, not quite an Easter egg, but it's like a little helper out. So that explains what slippage is. Yeah, and so.
And if there are any terms you don't understand as well, there's a Fairground docs, which Candida very meticulously maintains alongside some others. And you can check any of the key terms there, and we can give explanations on how these things work.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely read the docs if you ever get confused.
And if there's anything you think is missing, let us know. Always ready for that feedback. So yeah, so I've switched over to a limit order right now just to show you that, because it didn't actually explain very much. With a limit order is an order that doesn't necessarily go immediately. It's not just looking for the market price, it's looking for some of the parameters that you tell it. So for example, the price. So let's say I actually want this to trade at, I don't know, let's say 314. And let's say I want to buy at 314, or I want to go long 314. So this market, this order will sit until someone buys or takes my order at 314, I should say. And here under the time in force, I can decide how long I want this to stick around for. So let's say I have this up, but I'm not that confident that I really want this to fill in like a week's time, for example. I might say good till time. And so then I can say, if this order is not filled in an hour, just cancel it. Done, off the book. And if I want to do immediate or cancel, that one is like, if it doesn't get filled, well, it's in the name. It's immediate or it's canceled. And then it doesn't hang around. And then fill or kill. Ooh, if I remember this one. This is if the whole order is not filled, or whatever's not filled immediately is killed. That's it. And so let's say I place it, and then let's say I have a quantity of 100 here, and only 10 of them are filled. The other 90 go away. And then good for normal only. That's a fun one. So this is a relatively new time in force that's relevant for auctions, which is to say this order is only good if the market is in the normal trading mode, so not in an auction. So it's worth keeping that one in mind, but yeah, it's better to understand the auctions and what you're looking at, probably, but before going into that one too much, but you can put it, it's fine. but otherwise it won't cancel. Like it stays on the book as long as the market is in normal trading mode. Yeah, so I'm gonna now try and place some orders to see what happens. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this one. This is quite cool as well. This is a relatively new thing. You can see the estimate for how much fee you're going to pay for this trade. Again, estimate. And then the estimate of how much margin this order is going to use. And so the margin is like the kind of cushion to make sure that, you can afford to place this, place this order and keeps the market safe. So again, if you click on them, you can see a little bit of information about the fees. And when fees are paid and how they're calculated, and then a link off to, I think, market details in this case for more specifics about the fees. And then margin estimate tells you the estimate, as you say, and then you can go over to the documentation there and read about margin if you want to know more. So let's see, I'm gonna try to get an order placed. So I'm gonna do a market order for one pillar kill. So let's see what happens. So you can see here, my order goes into open orders and it's gone. And it's in my fills at the moment. And actually, this is a good time to say one of the bugs that some Fairground users have raised recently is that you need to sometimes refresh console to get things to turn up, unfortunately, and the team is looking at this and working on it, and hopefully it won't be a problem for much longer. But I'm gonna refresh and see if my position pops up. There it is. So refreshing has not made the order go through. Refreshing is just updating the interface so you can see it. So I used to say when in doubt, refresh on console, and then that wasn't true as much anymore, and it is true again. One of the reasons for that is because there's always so much work going on with everything that occasionally these little things slip back in, usually for completely different reasons for last time. But as building is happening, a lot is going on. So a lot of improvements go in, and then occasionally a few little things get lost. So that being said, I've got my position, and it looks like I did not make a good decision there, but that's okay. It's not real money, so who cares? So we've got this one in. Let's see what's the best thing to do next. I'm actually now going to try. Oh, go for it, Dagan.
Firstly, when in doubt, refresh. Very, very good words to live by. And yeah, just that we're in an alpha testnet right now, and we're on 0.4, right?
Actually, you can find out here. You're right. 0.4. Well remembered.
Yeah, so we have a long way to go to the actual mainnet, but this is like lots of stuff is constantly being upgraded, improved, and lots of features added, and then things break. So do refresh, do bear with us, and yeah, you'll see it just gets better and better and better over the weeks and months until one day you can trade with real assets and connect to so many different bridges. But that's all for the future. But I just wanted to say, let's wrap up in 5 minutes or so. And this is good for the first session, and then we'll make this a multi-part series where we go over other aspects of the console.
Yeah,
fantastic job so far. Really enjoying it.
Thank you. For the sake of correctness, because this is the kind of person I am, I noticed, so the UI is actually 0.59. This is, I'm also telling this so other people know, you can see what versions we're looking at. And then the app, which is actually Vega protocol, so the core software is at 0.4, and the chain is 0.33.8 for those people who care about version numbers. But really good spot, Dagan. I hadn't even thought to talk about that. So
what does the chain mean?
So the chain is I think it's a version of the like Tendermint chain kind of software. So the node or the app is like the engine, the protocol, and then the chain is the other one. And I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Got it.
Fairground, but I'm pretty sure. I feel fairly confident about that. Yeah. Okay. Let's wrap up relatively, hopefully efficiently. So I've got so many more things to show, but that's why there's another session. So I've got this open position here in my positions view. And again, if you see this nice little underline here, that means there's something to tell you. And so if you click on that, you can see the margin levels. So you can see the 4 different margin types and where my order is right now. And if you want to read more about these, we have a lot of good information in the docs. And I think we've done another testnet jam that talks about margin in a lot more detail. So I'm going to leave that aside and let you kind of dig in on that, because I think it's quite interesting and worth understanding. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to try and close my position. So there's this button here for close. And so it's a two-step process to close. I have to then click again to do it, which is kind of a confirmation to say, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And the reason for that really is actually because when you're closing a position in this case, I'm just placing a market order for like the opposite of what I've done. So I placed a long order and now I'm going to place a short order to get rid of it, to close it out. And what that means is that the price will be whatever the market is at the moment. So I can't do a limit order and say, hey, only close it when you get to this point. Closing it here is just, I want this out of here. So I'm tired of losing my 0.000812 dive. And so you see there was really quickly a little notification here telling me that it had happened, but I missed it to tell you guys. And now it is in the process of closing. But let's see in the order history what I've got. Ah, yeah, so it's been filled. So I think this is another refresh one that's kind of snuck in. I think the positions view is one where you might want to refresh to get some updates. But you can see in my order history that I had gone long to start. And then I have a market order to close it at immediate or cancel time in force. And it is filled. And those are the times in my time zone that it was created at. And just because I'm going to try and point them all out when I see them, here's another little sneaky underline. So you can click on this and it'll tell you, so this is a little funnel icon. So it's showing you the stat, like what you're seeing and what the filter is for this. And at the moment, I only have two orders. So it's not like I have 300 and I have to worry about filtering. But this is just so you know, like not literally every single order will necessarily come up with, eventually it's got to kind of decide what it shows you. That's for now. I think, we'll see. You might be able to filter your own things at some point, but that's in the future, not right now. So let me do a little refresh just to make sure. Yeah, cool. So I've got my order history is in here, and you can see now that I have an open volume of 0 in my positions, and you can see my unrealized P&L, which you can't quite see at the moment. So can I make it big enough? Which you can also click on. My unrealized P&L is 0 because the order is closed. There's nothing is unrealized at this point. And my realized profit and loss here, which you can also click on to see some info, is I'm like down like half a die, which is a shame. Half a T die, sorry. But you win some, you lose some. Oh, and I won some because this market just went into auction. And that is a really good time to stop, I think.
Nice. Yeah, that was great. Thanks for the very concise overview of everything, or half the things that testnet has to offer. Thank you for this overview of console, Candida, and for listening to my questions.
No problem. Thank you for asking questions.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we'll continue this at some point soon. I think Candida's away next week, but yeah, I look forward to the continuation where we go through everything in console. Yeah. Let us know if you have any ideas, any other things you would like to see in our Discord or in our Telegram or other public channels. And yeah, otherwise, thanks for attending. See you in the Zoom room and see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.